Amazon converts at around 15%. Most e-commerce stores are stuck between 1 and 2%. It's the same customer, it's about the same traffic. So how can it be that they are printing money while you're burning through your ad spend? Amazon is doing something completely different. Users go to Amazon to make a decision, and that is to make a purchase. They go to your site to browse. Whenever you load any of Amazon's pages, they remove any friction. The pages are almost ugly, but it provides tons of trust, social proof, incredible clarity, shipping details, and people trust the brand. They go to make a decision, not to explore the options. So today I'll explain you exactly how they do this and how you can implement these incredible conversion rate techniques into your own store. But more importantly, how can you compete with Amazon so your customers are not making a purchase on Amazon and instead they go to you. They can only go to you. If your conversion rate is low, you don't need more traffic. You need a better system to convert these clicks into paying customers. I will take you through a 5-step strategy that you can apply onto your own store to convert your users much better, but also to avoid that they're purchasing from the competition. Let's dive right in. Strategy number 1. Intent before the click. You're in the supermarket, there are tons of products at the bottom shelf, at the top shelf, bigger sizes, small sizes, different prices. There's tons of information and it's almost too much to understand. You go for the ones that you recognize or for the ones that you see. But I bet if you would put all products into a spreadsheet, your decision will be incredibly different because it will be very transparent what the quantity is of the jar, what the price is, how good the quality perhaps is, how many times it has been purchased. Your behavior will be incredibly different. And this is what Amazon basically does. They strip out all the fancy branding from their site, and the product is almost the same across all different pages. The product image is different, the price is different, maybe some of the description is slightly different, but the way you understand is absolutely the same across all product pages. They remove all your ability to stand out. Amazon is almost a race to the bottom. In the sheet, you can just sort from lowest price to highest price. Amazon already gets the purchase before someone comes to the site. And this is what you need to avoid. Someone might learn about your product, go to Amazon and just buy the cheapest alternative. You need to make sure that you're not comparable to the products on Amazon. You need to stand out. So if they do look for the cheapest price on Amazon, they won't find a product similar to yours. The price might be cheaper, but the expected perceived value will be much lower as well. If your product page reads like the one of Amazon, you're doing it wrong. You need to make sure that you add branding to your product. Explain exactly where the coffee comes from and why this is the best supplement for you and why it cannot be purchased anywhere else. Often a good trick is provide context. Add a little table or an element that shows you versus the market, versus a specific competitor. This helps the user understand why they should go with you and why going to Amazon is not gonna get them what they're looking for. The second layer is decision architecture. Remember, Amazon is not to inspire. Amazon is to remove any objections that you might have. So every element on the page is something that a user would have left over. QAs, return policies, guarantees, shipping time, everything has a function. And believe me, Amazon has tested the heck out of this. So what you can learn from this is that branding and inspiration often provides more friction as it makes things unclear. The user wants to know what they're interested in. And that is most likely not your branding, right? The branding gives you a feeling, but they're interested if they can trust you, if the product will actually solve the problem that they have. And Amazon, of course, is a master at this because their pages are ugly, right? There's no fancy stuff going on. There's just white pages with a bunch of products and some elements here and there, but it works. So what you can take away from this is that you need to improve your site to counter the objections that your customers have. Pull in the last 50 emails that you've gotten and analyze why they complained, why they were hesitant, or even why they were very happy. And every element on the page should basically explain that experience or counter that objection. If it's too much, add an FAQ at the bottom. Users will read it. Generally, it's said 50% of users don't scroll below the fold. That is true, but it leaves you with 60% other users that is likely to make a purchase. So focus on clarity. Make sure you answer all the questions that the user has. Okay, on to layer number 3, the system beyond the screen. The conversion rate from Amazon is not only because of the PDP. It's because of the trust infrastructure that runs beyond the screen. So Amazon is a trusted brand worldwide. You've probably already purchased there 50 times. So the next time you come there, you're not concerned about many of the things you were when you came in there for the first time, right? Is my credit card safe? Is the product good enough? Are the shipping details correct? You already know what to expect. And for your e-commerce stores, this is exactly the same. Your first customer, the first time they make a purchase is the hardest. The second time or the third time is a lot easier and a lot cheaper. So the cost to acquire a customer for the first purchase is expensive. But if you look at the lifetime value, often you can afford the first purchase very easily. But you need to make sure that the second purchase does happen, that the user does come back. Of course, you need to meet their expectations. Did you deliver on time? Is the product good enough? Did you trust all their personal details? You need to build an infrastructure that allows them to come back. This could be that you have to come up with a second product, or that you invent a loyalty program, or whatever is relevant for your business. But you need to make sure to focus on that second sale so you can afford the first sale. Because the first sale comes from ads. They might not even spend enough on the first sale to afford that customer. But if you make sure that they come back 3 times, then of course you've built a system of trust and you improve the lifetime value. That allows you to spend way more on ads than your competition and allow you to scale your business. Here just quickly a word from our sponsor in between. Me. If you're struggling with your conversion rate and you need help, feel free to reach out. We offer free CRO audits that we can do for your business to highlight everything that's wrong and how you can improve your company and take it to the next level. We are so sure about the results we're able to bring that we often do it on an ROI guarantee. We will always make you more money than we'll ever charge, and therefore we're basically working for our own. Okay, next to the 4th step, the decision making with social proof. It's almost a given, you need social proof, but Amazon doesn't only use it to make you feel good about the brand, but it really guides you in making the decisions. It doesn't matter how big you are, you need social proof. One way to do this is to gather all the written reviews, but also get videos. Categorize the information into different elements that the user might be interested in. Help them find what they're looking for. Grooms, the supplement company, does this really well. On their product page, they have a list of vertical videos and they've categorized it by each of the highlights that keeps being mentioned all the time. So this way, someone doesn't have to see tons of videos or read tons of text to actually understand it, but instead they can read what they're interested in. And that's actually what you're looking for. That is the social proof. It says proof, but it's actually not proof. It's just opinions, right? But often seeing tons of reviews and videos, which are much harder to get, so it adds more proof, then you don't even need to see them to get the feeling that you can trust it. So if you can highlight a few of these elements in text, you could say incredibly clean, 25 times said, incredibly fast delivery, 4 times said. You can highlight the good parts and make it easier for the user to understand. So then with social proof, you can help the customer convert better on your store. Layer number 5. Demand creation versus demand capture. And Amazon is an absolute master at this. They let you browse the internet, explore all the options, click a bunch of ads that other people pay for. But at the moment you're ready to make a purchase, that's where Amazon jumps in. And you want to avoid this. So what we see a lot of e-commerce stores do is they acquire awareness customers. This is a setting you can put on all the ads. They're incredibly cheap to get on your site, but they never convert because they're not even problem aware. They're not even solution aware. You need to avoid getting tons of traffic. It doesn't matter. What you need is profit, revenue coming into the door. A way to look at this is if you go into GA4 or any analytics tool that you're using, don't look at the conversion rate overall. Look at the conversion rate per traffic source. I bet the conversion rate on emails is much higher because they're already familiar with your brand. They're already further down the funnel. But cold traffic from Facebook or Google Ads doesn't convert that well if you're targeting awareness users rather than at the bottom of the funnel where they're ready to swipe their card. And this way you can figure out the traffic that you're getting from ads doesn't convert that well, and you need to figure out the reason why. Yes, they are cold, but it's your job to push them down the funnel much quicker. So these users might have seen an image of yours. Make sure that your page matches that sentiment of the ad, but also make sure that you educate these users differently than returning users. Returning users don't need to necessarily see all the trust signals and the brand. They already know that they can trust you. But new users might not aware about how the product works and how your company works and your guarantees. Treat these users very differently. and you'll see much better results on cold traffic. If your PDP converts at a 1%, of course, this is not only because of your PDP. It is because of the quality of the traffic that you bring in. Change the quality of the traffic and your store will perform much better. The downside here is that the cost per click will be much higher. But if your product converts well enough and you're able to get a good lifetime value, look beyond the first sale, you can easily acquire that customer. So have a look at the data and figure out how you can improve your conversion rate through adjusting your media buying. Okay, we're gonna wrap things up here. I think what you can take away from this is that Amazon hasn't built a list of singular pages. They've built a funnel, and they've more importantly built a machine that appears after you make a purchase. And so should you. You need to make sure that you convert your users, but more importantly, that you get these trusted, loyal users and make sure that they make a second and a third and a fourth purchase. Because eventually where it comes down to is you buying traffic. If you acquire a customer for 20 bucks and they make a purchase of 30 bucks, there's not much left to make a profit. So if you add up all these purchases, the lifetime value will be much higher, which is why you're able to afford a click more expensive than your competition, because you don't want to pay less, you want to pay more, you want to be able to pay more than them. So you get more clicks, fuel the business, get more conversions and get a higher lifetime value and eventually a lot more profit for you. And then the other thing, Amazon is almost like a spreadsheet. The competition is fighting for the lowest price. It's a race to the bottom. On your store, you want to differentiate yourself. You want to explain exactly why they cannot go to Amazon to buy from a cheaper competitor. You want to differentiate yourself by sharing openly and elaborately every little hesitation that they have, any objection, counter it right away on the product page. Tell them why you are unique and why they should make a purchase with you. If you're interested in more videos like this, where I break down exactly how you can improve your store, definitely subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next one.